Good evening, students. So good evening all of you. So welcome to Unacademy EAMCET YouTube channel. So myself Dr.Rajendra Prasad. So biology educator on Unacademy EAMCET platform students, and I have been teaching biology to NEET and EAMCET medical aspirants from last 13 years students. So in today's class we'll be discussing about the topic that is the fermentation. So fermentation topic is a part of the lesson respiration. So let us see the topic regarding the fermentation in this class. So before starting the class, I would like to introduce about our Unacademy Plus subscription. So every day Unacademy is providing free live classes on its YouTube channel, that is Unacademy EAMCET YouTube channel students. Apart from that, Unacademy is also providing free classes on its Unacademy EAMCET app. So you can go to the link that is given in our description box so that you can join our free special live classes also on our Unacademy EAMCET app students. So apart from that, there is another platform that is called Unacademy Plus. That is for the students. So this is for the students who subscribe to our courses. So that is called as Unacademy Plus. So in this, a well-designed course is going on students for complete preparation of the for the coming medical entrance examination. Let us see what is the benefits of taking Unacademy Plus subscription. So premium content will be available at affordable price, and structured live courses and dedicated live doubt clean sessions are taking place students. So quizzes are also conducted at regular intervals, so batches. So lecturers will be in batches. You can join those batches of your interest. And test series. So test series also will be conducted. So test series for daily practice papers are also conducted students. Full and mock tests. So these all will be available students. So it is single subscription, that is 1 month. So 1 month trial plan is available students, that is 2,250 rupees. So recently there is one batch was started. The name of the batch is called as a Telugu batch. So in this batch all the educators will be taking the classes in Telugu language. So all the educators will be taking the classes in Telugu language. And what is importance of this Telugu batch is detailed explanation. So detailed explanation will be given in our native language, that is in the Telugu language. So detailed explanation will be given in native language, that is in Telugu language. So complete syllabus coverage, and also main purpose is to complete the syllabus. Tips and tricks also will be given by educator students. Tips and tricks also will be given by the educators. So if you are interested, you can use my code. So you can use my code Rajendra Live to purchase this 1 month trial plan and to join this Telugu batch. Then there is another batch course is already going on, that is called comprehensive batch for EAMCET. So that is already called comprehensive batch for EAMCET. In that I am taking biology classes, Sir is taking the physics, and Sir is taking the chemistry. And what is purpose of this comprehensive batch is also to complete the syllabus. Tips and tricks will be given by educators, topic wise practice papers, full and mock tests. So all this you can get for 1 month plan of 2,250 rupees students. If you are interested, you can use my code Rajendra Live to purchase this particular 1 month plan of 2,250 rupees. So apart from this, there is a best long term plans also available, that is 6 months plan. So 6 months plan costing around 10,125 rupees students. So 6 months plan is costing around 10,125 rupees. And 12 months plan, so there is another plan that is called 12 months plan is also available, that is costing around 12,375 rupees. So these are the two best plans. 6 months plan costing around 10,125 rupees and 12 months plan costing around 12,375 rupees students. If you are interested, you can use my code Rajendra Live to purchase this particular 6 months plan for 10,125 rupees and 12 months plan for 12,375 rupees. So that is about our Unacademy Plus subscription. Let us see about the today's topic, that is on the fermentation, that is anaerobic respiration. So let us see. So let's discuss about this anaerobic respiration. So let us see what is this anaerobic respiration. So how do we define this anaerobic respiration? So it is the process. So it is the process. So it is a process. It is a process in which respiration. So in which respiration takes place. It is a process in which respiration takes place. So it is a process in which respiration takes place in the absence of. So respiration takes place in the absence. Okay, the respiration takes place in the absence of the oxygen. So So respiration is taking place in the absence of oxygen. So it is a process in which respiration is taking place in the absence of oxygen. Such type of respiration is called as an anaerobic respiration. So how do we define an anaerobic respiration? Means it is a process in which substrate is utilized. Substrate is utilized in the absence of oxygen. Such type of respiration is called as an anaerobic respiration. So generally this anaerobic respiration takes place in the bacteria, especially the heterotrophic bacteria. So bacteria, some of the bacteria undergoes anaerobic respiration. So during the process of anaerobic respiration, it involves the major steps. So it involves the different steps like, so first step in anaerobic respiration is glycolysis. So when the substrate is undergoing, like glucose, when it undergoes glycolysis, it produces pyruvate, and later what happens is after completion of glycolysis, the pyruvate enters into the, after that it takes fermentation will be taking place. So next step is the fermentation. So like this, what happens is during anaerobic respiration, the major step is glycolysis. Glycolysis is one of the major step, and it is the common. So glycolysis is the common step. So you can see the common step. So this step is seen commonly. It is seen in step in both aerobic respiration as well as in anaerobic respiration. So it is a common step in both aerobic and as well as anaerobic respiration. So what is an anaerobic respiration? Means it is a process. So what happens during anaerobic respiration means it is a process in which the respiration takes place in the absence of oxygen. So respiration is taking place in the absence of oxygen. This type of respiration is called as anaerobic respiration. So it involves mainly the glycolysis is the first step. It is followed by the fermentation. Let us see in detail about this anaerobic respiration. Here you can see how the anaerobic respiration is taking place here. So this is the substrate here. The substrate is glucose. Now you can see clearly the substrate here is glucose. So glucose undergo glycolysis. So just now we are discussing the same thing. So glucose undergo glycolysis to produce pyruvic acid. So 2 molecules of pyruvic acid is produced. So glucose will undergo pyruvic acid to produce glucose will undergo glycolysis to produce pyruvic acid. You can see here during the process of the glycolysis, so net ATP. So net ATP produces 2 ATP. So 2 ATP is produced. So 2 ATP is produced during the process of this particular glycolysis. Not only 2 molecules of ADP, we also get 2 molecules of NADH also will be producing. So NAD plus is converting. So 2 molecules of NAD plus is converted into 2 molecules of NADH also will be liberated. Then this pyruvic acid, so this pyruvic acid undergoes anaerobic respiration in case of animals. So if you see in case of animals, so what happens here is, you can see here, so animals, in case of animals, the pyruvate is converted into lactic acid. Such type of process is called as, such type of anaerobic process is called as lactic acid fermentation. Such type of process is called as a lactic acid fermentation. Then you see here in case of the plants, so in place of the plants, what is when pyruvic acid, so pyruvic acid will first undergo a process that is called as a decarboxylation. So pyruvic acid will first undergo decarboxylation and to produce acetaldehyde. So you can see here acetaldehyde is produced. Later this acetaldehyde is undergoing alcoholic fermentation. So it is undergoing alcoholic fermentation. It is undergoing alcoholic fermentation here. So here it is undergoing alcohol fermentation to produce ethanol. So to produce ethanol, so ethanol is produced finally. So here also what happens is ethanol is produced finally. So that process is called as a altogether. This altogether whole process. Now this whole process is together is a alcoholic fermentation. So here we can clearly see that fermentation is of 2 types. First one is called lactic acid fermentation. Second one is called as alcoholic fermentation. So once again, if you see during the process of anaerobic respiration, so what is the common thing is glycolysis is taking place. So glucose converts into pyruvic acid and such process is called as a glycolysis. Then this pyruvic acid in the absence of oxygen. So the process which is taking place in the absence of oxygen is called as an anaerobic respiration. So in the absence of oxygen, what happens is this pyruvic acid or pyruvate in animals, what happens is it is converted into lactic acid. It is converted into lactic acid. So pyruvic acid is converted into lactic acid. Then after that, what pyruvic acid is converted into lactic acid in the absence of the oxygen. So whereas in case of the plants, if you see in case of the plants, so pyruvic acid is converted. So pyruvic acid is converted into acetaldehyde. So pyruvic acid is converted into acetaldehyde. So pyruvic acid is converted into acetaldehyde. And in that specifically, the pyruvic acid is first of all, very first step, it is converted into acetaldehyde in the and such reaction is called decarboxylation reactions. Then acetaldehyde is further reduced to ethanol. So finally, ethyl alcohol is produced. We can see here ethanol or ethyl alcohol. So this step has alcoholic fermentation has very important role in the beverage production industries actually. So like that, so what happens is anaerobic respiration will be taking place. So just now discussing anaerobic respiration involves two types. So fermentation involves two types, like alcoholic fermentation and lactic acid fermentation. Let us see first in alcoholic fermentation what happens in alcoholic fermentation. Let us see. See, in alcoholic fermentation, so it occurs in yeast. So especially in case of yeast, so we already know that yeast, Saccharomyces cerevisiae, it is a unicellular fungi. Yeast is a unicellular fungi. It is a unicellular fungi. So its scientific name is Saccharomyces. So the presence of yeast, so anaerobic respirations, particularly the alcoholic fermentation takes place with help of yeast. So what happens here in alcoholic fermentation is pyruvic acid. So pyruvic acid is the end product in glycolysis. Pyruvic acid is the end product in glycolysis. So pyruvic acid is the end product in glycolysis. So this pyruvic acid is decarboxylated. So pyruvic acid is decarboxylated. So decarboxylated in the presence of enzyme. The name of the enzyme is called as a pyruvic acid decarboxylase. So pyruvic acid is decarboxylated. Carbon dioxide is removed in the presence of pyruvate decarboxylase to produce acetaldehyde. So what happens is it is producing acetaldehyde. So it is producing the acetaldehyde, and you can see here the carbon dioxide is released out as a byproduct. Now this acetaldehyde is converted into ethyl alcohol in the presence of alcoholic dehydrogenase. So in the presence of alcoholic dehydrogenase. So in this case, what happens is 2 molecules of NADH2 is utilized to produce 2 molecules of NAD+. So 2 molecules of NAD+. So it is reduced. So NADH2 is reduced to NAD+. So in the presence of alcoholic dehydrogenase to produce the product as ethyl alcohol. So ethyl alcohol is the product in this case of the final product in case of the fermentation. Byproduct is carbon dioxide. So product is in alcoholic fermentation the major product. The major product in alcoholic fermentation is ethyl alcohol. The major product is ethyl alcohol, and byproduct is carbon dioxide. So byproduct is carbon dioxide actually. So like this in alcoholic fermentation, the major product is ethyl alcohol and byproduct is carbon dioxide. And one decarboxylation reaction takes place. In the alcoholic fermentation. The organism that is involved in the alcoholic fermentation is yeast. So yeast is the organism. So it is a eukaryotic organism. So yeast is the unicellular fungi. So which is eukaryotic organism that is involved in the process of alcoholic fermentation. So let us see about the next one, that is lactic acid fermentation. Next one is lactic acid fermentation. In lactic acid fermentation, if you see in lactic acid fermentation, see here lactic acid fermentation. In this lactic acid fermentation, so lactic acid fermentation takes place in the presence of bacteria. The name of the bacteria is called lactobacillus. So lactobacillus, in case of the preparation of curd, so during the preparation of curd, lactic acid bacillus, that is lactic acid bacteria lactobacillus is used actually. So it also converts the glucose into lactic acid. So that is done with help of lactobacillus during the preparation of the curd. So in the curd preparation, what happens is the glucose, the milk inside the milk, the lactose is present. The lactose is the milk sugar. So lactose is the milk sugar that is present in the milk. That lactose is made up of glucose plus galactose. Lactose is made up of glucose and galactose. It is a disaccharide. So lactose is a disaccharide. So it is broken down to glucose plus galactose, and the glucose produced from lactose is broken down to produce lactic acid. It is used to produce lactic acid in the presence of bacteria. The name of the bacteria is called as a lactobacillus. So lactobacillus converts glucose into lactic acid. Lactobacillus converts the glucose into lactic acid. So lactobacillus converts glucose into lactic acid. So let us see what happens. That is in case of the during the preparation of the curd. Then pyruvic acid. So pyruvic acid produced in glycolysis is reduced to NADH to produce lactic acid without producing carbon dioxide. Here in this case of lactic acid fermentation, what is important point you have to remember is carbon dioxide is not produced. So carbon dioxide is not liberated. Okay, that is another important point we have to remember. So carbon dioxide is not liberated. Whereas in case of the alcohol fermentation, we have seen that there is a liberation of carbon dioxide is taking place. So this lactic acid fermentation in two cases we have been explaining. In very first case, that is taking place in case of the by using the bacteria that is called as lactobacillus in preparation of the curd, and lactic acid fermentation also takes place. Means lactic acid accumulation, we should not say fermentation exactly, we should say accumulation of lactic acid is also taking place in the muscles. So due to the rapid exercise by athletes, so when athletes are doing so rapid exercises, what happens is there is a muscle cramps will take place. So in the absence of oxygen, what happens is in the absence of oxygen in the muscles, so what happens is the glucose is immediately converted into lactic acid. So that conversion of glucose into lactic acid, and again lactic acid is converted back again. So that is called Cori cycle. That is the Cori cycle. Anyhow, so what happens in lactic acid fermentation is the pyruvic acid. Pyruvic acid is directly converted into lactic acid with help of enzyme that is called lactic dehydrogenase. So lactic acid is a 3-carbon compound, you can see here. So pyruvic acid is also a 3-carbon compound. So there is no decarboxylation reaction. There is no production of any carbon dioxide. That is the important step we have to remember generally. So in pyruvic acid, so the pyruvic acid is converted into lactic acid. So finally the product is lactic acid. So the final product in case of lactic acid fermentation is lactic acid only. So the pyruvate is converted to lactic acid in the presence of enzyme. The name of the enzyme is called as lactate dehydrogenase. So lactate dehydrogenase converts the pyruvic acid into the lactic acid. So that is about the fermentation process. So let us discuss some multiple choice questions related to this fermentation topic. Fermentation is an anaerobic process of, so that is the question. So anaerobic process of fermentation is an anaerobic process of alcohols, lactic acid or similar compounds. Yes, so this will be the answer. So during the fermentation, what happens is, so the production of alcohols will be taking place, and that is called alcoholic fermentation. When there is production of lactic acid is taking place, that is called as a lactic acid fermentation. So fermentation was 3 types: alcoholic fermentation and lactic acid fermentation. When alcohol is produced, it is called alcoholic fermentation. When lactic acid is produced, it is called as lactic acid fermentation. So that is the answer. Next question: what is the energy currency of a cell? So which is known as energy currency of a cell? So we know that DNA and RNA and ATP, out of all these, so ATP is considered as a energy currency of cell. So ATP, if you see the full form of ATP, so ATP full form, if you see like Okay, if you see the ATP full form, okay, so it is adenosine triphosphate. It is called as adenosine triphosphate. So when ATP is broken down, so what happens is when ATP is broken down, so when ATP is broken down to ADP plus inorganic phosphate, it liberates some energy. So it liberates 7.3 kilocalories of energy. So 7.3 kilocalories of energy is liberated when breakdown of ATP is taking place. So that is the reason ATP is considered as energy currency of cell. Which is considered as energy currency of cell means ATP is considered as a energy currency of cell. Why ATP is considered as energy currency of cell? Because whenever ATP is broken down, it liberates ADP and inorganic phosphate. At the time, 7.3 kilocalories of energy is liberated. So this energy is helpful for the activities that is taking place inside the human being, like person is able to talk, person is able to walk, so the person is able to do some activities. These all activities require energy, so that energy is provided by the breakdown of ATP. So that is the reason ATP is considered as energy currency. Next question. The end product of glycolysis. So which is considered as the end product of glycolysis? We already know that. So in glycolysis, glucose. So glucose is one molecule of glucose is broken down. So two molecules. It is broken down to two molecules of pyruvate. It is broken down to two molecules of pyruvate. So it is broken down to two molecules of pyruvate. In this, so we are getting two molecules of ADP. So finally, two molecules of ATP is the ATP is produced. Then two molecules of NADH plus H plus is produced. Two molecules of NADH plus H plus is produced. Two molecules of NADH plus H plus is produced, and two molecules of ATP are liberated. So these are the end products. So the end products of glycolysis. End products of glycolysis is, no doubt, it is the pyruvic acid. You can see pyruvic acid. So apart from pyruvic acid, so two molecules of ATP and two molecules of reducing power NADH plus H plus is also produced. Two molecules of ATP and two molecules of NADH plus H plus is also produced. So finally our answer will be option 4. Then, so where is this anaerobic respiration takes place? That was the question. So first of all, this anaerobic respiration, it takes place. So actually it takes place in microorganisms. It takes place, anaerobic respiration generally takes place in microorganisms like bacteria. It takes place in microorganisms like bacteria. Hi Komla, how are you? So anaerobic respiration, so what is the site of anaerobic respiration? That was the question actually. So anaerobic respiration generally takes place in the microorganisms. In microorganisms, anaerobic respiration generally takes place. So in bacteria, so you're discussing in bacteria, so anaerobic respiration involves the one of the major step that is called as a glycolysis. So in bacteria, glycolysis takes place in the cytoplasm. So in the cytoplasm itself, so anaerobic respiration takes place in the cytoplasm itself actually. So finally our answer is option 3. So anaerobic respiration takes place in case of in the cytoplasm actually. It is taking place in the cytoplasm of the cell. So in bacteria, what happens? True nucleus is absent. Instead of true nucleus in bacteria, bacteria is having a nucleoid. And vacuole, so vacuole is absent in case of bacteria. Vacuole is present only in case of the plants. Vacuole is absent in case of the bacteria. Whereas on proteins, on the ribosomes, only protein synthesis takes place. On the ribosomes, what happens is only protein synthesis will be taking place. Okay. Next question. Conversion. So conversion of pyruvic acid. So conversion of pyruvic acid to ethyl alcohol is mediated by. Yes, Komla, if you are confident, you can answer these questions, no doubt about it. So conversion of pyruvic acid. So conversion of pyruvic acid into ethyl alcohol is mediated by which type of enzymes? That was the question. So can you try to answer this question? So conversion of pyruvate into ethyl alcohol. Yes. Can you answer this question? Yes, very good. So pyruvic acid. So pyruvic acid is first converted into acetaldehyde. So it is first converted into acetaldehyde. Okay. So during this process, so there is a carbon dioxide is broken down. Now this step is called as a decarbox. This step involves enzyme that is called as decarboxylase. So later this acetaldehyde is reduced. So acetaldehyde is reduced to ethyl alcohol. It is reduced to ethyl alcohol. So for that we require dehydrogenase enzyme. So dehydrogenase enzyme is involved. Okay. So yes. So certainly answer is option 3. Option 3 will be our answer in this case. Okay. So dehydrogenase enzyme is involved in this case, whereas here it is decarboxylase. Okay, let's move to next question. Next question. Which of the following represents the correct ordering of the events that occur in the catabolism of glucose? So which are the correct order in the catabolism of glucose in the absence of oxygen? So in the absence of oxygen, there are only 2 steps. In the absence of oxygen, the respiration is taking place. Such type of respiration is called as anaerobic respiration. So such type of respiration is called as anaerobic respiration, and this anaerobic respiration involves 2 major steps. First one is glycolysis, and second one is the, yes, very good is option D, very good. So it is fermentation. So it is fermentation. So option D will be the answer. Very good. Yes, very good. Option D is the answer. Next question. So let us see the next question. In alcoholic fermentation, NAD+. So NAD+ is produced during. So where NAD+ is produced during? That was the question. So in alcoholic fermentation, where NAD+ is produced? That was the question. Yes, can you try to answer this question? So in alcoholic fermentation, what happens is, we were discussing in previous question. You can see here in one of the previous question we were discussing this one. Acetaldehyde is converted into acetyl-CoA. In this case, what happens here is the NADH plus H plus is utilized to produce NAD plus. So in this step, so what step? Conversion of acetaldehyde into ethyl alcohol. So conversion of acetaldehyde into ethyl alcohol. So that step. So where is that conversion of acetaldehyde into ethyl alcohol? Now this step is that step which we were discussing just now. So option 1 will be the answer actually. So option 1 will be the right answer in this case. Okay, option 1 will be the right answer in this case. Okay. So let us move to the next question. So fermentation. So fermentation is represented by which equation? That was the question. So yes, can you give your answer? Fermentation. So you are giving option as C. So let's see. So fermentation. So what is the product in fermentation? During fermentation, product is ethyl alcohol. Ethyl alcohol is the product. So identify the ethyl alcohol. Where is ethyl alcohol is produced? See here in this equation you can see ethyl alcohol. Here you can see ethyl alcohol. So fermentation is represented by this equation. Now this is the equation which shows that glucose. So C6H12O6. Now this is the glucose. So the glucose is converted into ethyl alcohol, and that is the product. and byproduct is carbon dioxide. Now this carbon dioxide is a byproduct. It is a byproduct, and ethyl alcohol is a product. So that is the answer. So yes, so option B is the right answer. So very good comment. So option B is the right answer. Okay, so this is the end of today's session. So we have alternate days. My class is there on alternative days. So again we have the day after tomorrow we have one more class. So if you have free time, you can join the class. So that is the end of today's class actually. So before ending this session, once again I would like to introduce about our Unacademy Plus subscription students. So if anybody interested to take for long-term plans, if you want interested to take the long-term plans, so 6 months plan, so there is a best plans are available. So that is the 6 months plan. So 6 months plan costing around 10,125 rupees students, and 12 months plan is costing around 12,375 rupees. So these are the best plans students. If you are interested, you can use my code Rajendra and purchase the 6 months plan for 10,125 rupees and 12 months plan for 12,375 rupees. So thank you students. So thank you for joining. So thank you for all of you who have joined this class. So see you in the next class students. Thank you all of you.